Good evening, everyone. So, can we have hello and hi in the chat box? Welcome to the IT Business Analyst training. Fantastic, fantastic. And I'm super excited to get started with the journey. Great. So, friends, before we move into the agenda and everything, I would want you all to share your experiences. I would want you to share a few things like your name, what are you currently doing, and why BA or why ServiceNow BA? I just want to know about your plans and then we will get started with the journey. So let's start. Who would like to go first?
Me,
Fantastic,
the
Nafis.
piece. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So why do I want to go as a BA or ServiceNow BA?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm working as a BA in financial domain for a couple of years. So that thing was irritating. Like I'm having sometime some jobs in payment, sometime in capital market, sometimes someone is pulling me for basic banking kind of stuff. So then now I'm in between deciding, okay, if be on some specific tool like ServiceNow, Salesforce, or whatever is in more demand. So
Okay.
that is what I just started my searching right now. I'm just learning a bit about ServiceNow, learning a bit about Salesforce, what is their market and job potential. So this kind of stuff I'm working on. So that's about me.
Fantastic. So it also brings in a very important part that IT is now one of the major driving force. Great, great. Super. Who would like to go next? Charles, you want to go ahead first? Hey, Charles, if you can give us a small introduction about yourself, that would be great.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Charles. Currently, I work as a help desk support specialist, and we currently use ServiceNow for most of our IT management inventories. But it's something I've used and I'm getting tired of it, and I just want to learn more since I hear about ServiceNow Business Analyst, which means if other upgrades of things, how to use it. Basically, that's what I want to understand and see where that will take me, maybe to improve my career. Thanks.
Fantastic. You would like to know more about the application, right? And how it is used in different platforms and different environment.
That's it. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Very good. Dharmik, you want to go next?
Yeah. So my name is Dharmik Patel. So I'm from India, and my bachelor degree is in a bachelor in computer application in back home India.
Fantastic.
And after I moved here in Canada in 2018
Mm-hmm.
as a visitor, after I started work in a hotel.
Okay.
So I started work as a housekeeping first. After I work as a housekeeping supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
After I work as a night auditor.
Wow.
And after I started as a front desk
Mm-hmm.
supervisor. And after I moved in Ontario. So basically I work in Alberta in a Canmore.
Okay.
Yeah. So after I decided to start in a IT again, like I finished my paperwork
Okay. Awesome.
first
Very good.
because yeah. mm,
Great, great.
yeah.
So, just why BA? What is your one-liner? Why you are here and what wants you to drive? What is your driving force?
And so basically uh, I really want to start my career in IT because my background is like I learned in a IT field before.
Very good.
So yeah, so I'll start again, you know, for my career. I'm starting my new career basically, right?
Awesome. So you
So
want to have the best of both the worlds, right? Where you have technical as well as functional role both working together, right?
yes,
Like, fantastic. Very good. Super. Ganga, you can go next.
okay.
Hi, I'm Ganga. Currently, I'm working as an office admin in one of the beauty spa.
Okay.
My background is human resource. I did human resource management, and I tried to find a job on that sector. And I waited I tried for a couple months, but it was very challenging to get a job currently because I don't know, it's because of recession or something of lack of job openings. I have no idea. And what I researched and I found out like there are some training classes, training courses that will lead into a job market. So I found this in the internet. I talked with some of the friend who already had got into this business analyst job. So these all, make me go into this field. I am a non-IT. I have not much computer knowledge. So still I'm trying my best. I have no idea like how I will get into it, and I'm very eager to learn at the same time. So yeah, and why? It's because I heard about good thing about this job. So, and I also Google sorts it out and find out like the scope is good. So this makes me to get into IT, which is challenging to me. I can tell that too as well.
Fantastic. Very good. Super. Very good. We can go with Marina. Marina, you're there? Marina, you're there? Okay, great. Navtej, we can go with you. Navtej, you are there?
Okay, so I can go ahead.
Great. Please go ahead. Good
Yeah, so
evening.
my name is Sunshine. Speaking from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Okay, great.
So currently I work with Saskatchewan Government Insurance as a billing analyst,
Okay.
and I've done one or two training in business analysis, and I have my CBAP. I've also trained in project management. And I was looking at, because we use a Guidewire in the insurance section,
All right.
and I was actually looking at learning Guidewire business analysis before I spoke with Swedish.
Mhm.
So he gave me assurance, the way he spoke with me. I've actually spoken with a lot of people doing training, but rest assured, I'm so happy when he spoke with me that I need an extra skill if I want to break into business analysis.
Absolutely fantastic. So you're all set for the journey? Great. So, friends, moving forward, I am Vishal Dave and I am an experienced IT business analyst with over 20 years in the IT industry. I started my journey with the IT basics where I was working as the front desk operator for support in a cybersecurity company. And then I started the journey in bridging the gap between business needs and technology. So, what I understood that technical people don't understand business language, and technical or business people or others don't understand the more depth of technical. And then there would be someone who can ensure that they understand both of them and they can bridge the gap. So that's exactly where we bring in and came forward. So I'm part of multiple workflows and modules. I've helped many organizations to set up ServiceNow. I have understood their requirements. I have helped them to understand their technology requirement and then helping their complex requirement into effective ServiceNow workflow and process optimization. Interesting part was most of the time what we had seen that few of the implementations were not able to work properly because there was no guidance. But they generally thought that when they hired me, I helped them with my guidance and they ensured that everything went smoothly. So we need to understand that we have a analyze requirement, then we move towards the stakeholder management, then we need to know the process optimization, and finally supporting a successful implementation, especially in ITSM, item, and different custom application. So I'll be your mentor for the journey and we'll be getting started. Okay. So I hope all are ready. So can we have type ready in the chat box so that we can move ahead? And also let me know if you can see my screen. Great. So friends, I'm going to ask you a lot many questions. This is first session of our training course, and just to share in, we are offering 3 sessions for free. You don't have to pay anything. You are here to enhance your learning. And if you feel that yes, you want to go ahead, we will help you and guide you journey. Remember one thing, it's a customized course where I and Sudesh planned this curriculum have after having a lot of analyzing and coming up. So this is our fifth batch where we are taking the journey towards, and let's make it more meaningful. Okay. So first question in the room, what or who is a business analyst? Can we have a one liner from you in the chat box? Who is a business analyst? Let's see.
A
What is
person
one?
who works as a bridge between business and technical team.
And if you can give me an example, that would be awesome.
Business team generates requirements. We extract the requirements from business teams, analyze them, elicitate them, then translate into technical language and give it to technical teams, discuss with them so they implement.
Okay, fantastic. And assuming if there is no business analyst, what will happen?
I don't think they will move. They can't move.
Fantastic. So they can definitely move ahead, but they will be misunderstood and probably there lead to a wrong or failed implementation, right? So that's the reason where business analysts play the very, very big role where business users, okay, great. I have a new answer. Fantastic. Wow. So Sunshine, that's a detailed one. Can you just unmute yourself? I would like to know more about it. Please go ahead.
Okay, so as I said, that's business analyst and analyzes and processes, develops solutions to improve the efficiency. So when he or she works with stakeholders, different departments, he or she gathers the document that is required and make sure that a solution is given and is implemented very well.
Fantastic. Very good. Great. So, yes, that's what we are here for. So, I am going to get started with a scenario. Okay. I want you to bring in your expertise and you can put in all your answers. Again, friends, we are just learning. We are getting started. Okay. So, we are just getting started with one of the scenarios. Okay. So, I want you to read the scenario and then I'll be giving you the concerns by the stakeholders and then you can start pouring in your answers. Okay. So, in this I'm sure we have this a common scenario across the IT that there's an e-commerce company and they can see that they are having issue with their checkout abandonment. So a mid-size e-commerce retailer is seeing a sharp increase in the cart abandonment during the checkout stage. So what happens? A user comes to their website, they identify, they search the product, They add the product in the cart and suddenly they move ahead. Okay. Again, few of the data insight was that abandonment rate has gone high from 45% to 72% in the last 3 months. Okay. So that also means that if you as a user log into the website, you will surf through different catalogs, choose your product, and then when you come towards the checkout stage, suddenly you will move out. Okay. So this number has now gone drastically up by 72%. Initially, it was 45% 3 months back. Okay. And then there were few feedbacks who also mentioned that checkout
Hello.
is hello. Yes, please go ahead. And
Oh, sorry.
then,
Sorry.
yeah, no problem, no problem. So Ajay, you joined just now? Great. So we missed out on your introduction. We'll come back again. Okay. So in this, customer feedback also mentioned that their checkout is confusing and probably there are too many steps. So this was the common feedback across by the customers. Okay. So let's see what does the stakeholder say. So different stakeholder had a different view. Okay. I'm taking you through all and then I want you to pour in your answer that what is wrong or what do you think would be gone wrong. Okay. So head of sales say, hey, we are losing revenue every day. We need a fix urgently. Marketing team says our ads are bringing visitors, but they are not buying. That means we are also wasting our online budget. IT team says, hey, current checkout is tightly integrated and any change, if we try to modify there, it will break the system. Okay. The customer support team says, we get call about failed payments and confusion at checkout. And the CEO says, guys, we need a solution that improves our conversion without causing a downtime. So, friends, my question to you is what do you think is the solution? Or if given a task to you, that how you can guide this e-commerce team to take it forward. So, let's see. You can unmute yourself and can share your experience. Guys, what you think should be the solution here? Or how do we go ahead? Let's see. And you can unmute yourself, answer, and in case if you want, you can also put it in the chat box also. Let's see. What do you think should
Hey,
be the solution? Yeah, go ahead.
hey, hi, this is Navtej.
Hi, Napej. How are you
S-
doing?
I'm good, I'm good. Thank you for asking. And my approach will be like, first of all, I will go through the last 3 months of data, like, uh, do we have any bad feedbacks and all those things, like data analyst is kind of it. Second thing, I will study the user journey.
Okay.
And third thing I will do, like, uh, after the user journey, like, if I see like any things like which can be improved, you can suggest the changes and create those things to for the A/B testing kind of thing. Like we can for few users we can show the another way of checkout, like with new design and with the new flow of checkout process.
Okay, so you will recommend a complete new process, right? Simpler process.
Yeah, not completely new process, like the placement of buttons, like minor changes, but like
Okay,
A/B
UI
testing.
changes. Okay,
Yeah, UI
okay.
changes, which can,
Fine.
as in the statement it says, like it's like quite confusing, right? So
Right.
I think like the way Google uses, like it makes its UI always clear and uh, bold buttons and everything, something simpler, which is easier for elder people as well to view and to do the transactions and everything, something like that. So
Fantastic.
this is the complete process. Actually, it's of course in each step I need to go deep, and according to the data, I will make decisions, and I will discuss with both the technical team and the management as well for the reviews and everything.
Okay, fantastic. So once we get through your recommendations, what would be the deliverables in your case?
So deliverables will not only the checkout amount of the like the previous before 3 months, like what is the percentage of like how many checkouts we are getting, like in if suppose out of 100 customers we are getting around 20 customers which are doing the complete checkout. So first of all, comparison with that thing.
Okay,
So
fantastic. Very good.
and the second thing, the after between these 3 months, like what's the drop and how the new design and changes are making up the improvements, and if it goes better than the previous 3 months, then it's well done case, right? Kind something like that. So maybe my comparison will be the current situation, because you know eh, it will shows the big impact if it goes up from the current situation. Like suppose earlier we have 20% checkouts, and now currently we are, if we drop from for around 25%, so means we are only having 15% of checkouts, right? So
Right.
if I gain at least 7 more peoples to check out completely, it goes to 22, which is like it is more. So in my statement, I can say like I increase the revenue by around. I think I don't know how much percentage it will become, but around uh, 7-10% maybe. Like
Fantastic. So guys, I'm ready to sign a contract with you. So friend, anything which enhances my journey as a CEO, I'll definitely hire. Thank you, Navdesh. That was a detailed answer. Appreciate that. And then we have Sunshine here. Sunshine shares, as a business analyst, I would give the company to streamline the checkout process by first analyzing user behavior and pain points through data and customer feedback. Fantastic. And then she will also propose a simplified, intuitive checkout designs with fewer steps. So that's a very important part, that when customer feedback says checkout is confusing, there might be lot many forms to be filled. So we can eliminate those and we can have minimalistic steps. And then we can also have an implement guest checkout options. Fantastic. And recommend usability testing to validate improvement before rollout. Fantastic. So friends, I would want you all to add on few more answers. Nafis, others, would you like to share something a bit from your experience?
Well, if I may comment, since I'm not vast as the other
Yeah, yeah.
colleagues that have spoken online,
Right.
I would probably have a meeting with the stakeholders
Okay,
to
very good.
see what the concerns are, and for me to understand the business more and see what how we can move forward uh, in navigating what the issues are.
Mm.
Like for example, I believe like the customer support, to get their own understanding where the confusion might be from the checkout.
Right.
First for me is to understand what the business is actually, how
Absolutely. Absolutely.
everything gets to before having all these concerns. Thank you.
Fantastic, Charles. That was a different take. So, friends, again, it's not about, it's always different people will have a different approach, but the idea is resolution, right? So let's hear it and check in that how in an ideal environment business analysts will solve the problem. Okay. And that's exactly when we say bridging gap. Bridging gap means ensuring that we move in and solve the issues. Again, if you want to relate yourself, business analyst will work like a translator, right? So if someone technical team speaks English and stakeholder speaks Chinese, business analyst understand Chinese and English both. So when and where required, he can actually bridge the gap between both of them. But just imagine if someone knows Chinese and someone knows English and they start conversing with each other, probably they'll not come make any sense to them, both of them, right? So business analysts will come into this and try to analyze the problem. As again, we had a few examples where they went and checked in the details. So let's try to see what they have done, okay, with an example. So friends, here comes few terminologies which we will be learning. So as our friend rightly said, unless and until we have that in front of us, it will be very, very difficult for us to get started. So that brings in to a very important point, which we call it as root cause analysis or RCA. I'm sure everyone knows about this in the room. Root cause analysis. So identifying what is the exact cause. Okay. So what we can do, we can have a survey with the customers, trying to know about what exactly is happening to them and also with our internal team. So once we discuss with them, we found something like checkout has 5 steps. Again, as I said, steps, more steps means more confusion. Then users are forced to create an account before paying. So that's again a very irritating thing, right? Many times you might see that they have paid and later on they have only added the number, right, and they can go ahead and make the payment. But here what they have done is that every time user wants to pay, they have to add on the complete field and then only they can go ahead. And the third which they identified was mobile checkout is very slow and there was a glitch at the payment stage. So now when they have got this, what they will do, they will prepare their own data review set. So ideally, by going through Google Analytics, they get to know that 60% of the abandonment which happened with cart was done from the mobiles. And majorly people dropped off at account creation page. So we get to know that this is the exact issue which people were facing, right? So two major things. Mostly abandonment was done on mobile. Reason, you can understand the checkout was very slow. That can be one of the reason, and especially when they are trying to make the payment, there were glitches. And the second one was major drop off at account creation page. Since they wanted to add all the items and everything, it would be very difficult for user and especially frustrating for any of us to put all information. And most of the time with social logins now, you don't have to create an account. You just have to select whether you have a Google account or anything. Just hit on that button and then check-in is done, right? So that's how we are now used to. So ideally, it's not just abandonment. The real issue is complex, inefficient, and buggy checkout process, especially on mobile. So, friend, as a BA, devil is in the details. So we have to look at the larger picture. So we just understood that it was not the issue with the abandonment, but overall the checkout process was faulty and difficult in context of mobile. Okay. So what would BA do? BA will come in and write the problem statement like this. As a customer, I want to check out as a guest so that I can complete my purchase quickly. And that's exactly what Sunshine has mentioned. Thank you, Sunshine, for the answer. As a customer, I want single page checkout so that process feels faster. I don't want to have 5 stages or multiple. Everything will be available on the page and I can move in ahead. As a mobile user, I want the checkout to load fast because I can pay without frustration. Reason, if the checkout process is very slow, we actually will move out and run out of the app. Okay, so that's very, very important thing. The same thing can also be helped and shown with the checkout flows, right? If we do the process diagram, that will also help us to know that what are the different steps ideally and how we can use that as a guest checkout, ensuring that the experience for the customer is smooth. Okay. And finally, when we move towards the priorities, we will also check in and discuss with the stakeholders that, friends, we need to understand that mobile optimization is top priority because 60% of my customers are coming in from mobile. I'm sure many of you would agree that mobile is one of the driving factor nowadays because everyone wants to log in from their phone, right? Everyone wants to use phone and they want to make it happen. Again, second option, guest checkout should be enabled. So that is rightly pointed that There will be minimal registration, just a small detail like number and address, and we can move ahead. Along with this, single page checkout for both desktop and mobile. So this ensure the same requirement has to be put on to your IT team. So now, after discussion with the stakeholder team, you will have to sit with the IT team to ensure that what can be done without much system risk and within the domain of possibility. Because not everything will be possible, but whatever best is possible to make it happen, right? Because unless and until we solve the issue, the matter will not work ahead for us. And eventually, we will go ahead and explain them that how we can go ahead and prepare the solution. So ideally, guest checkout, one page checkout. And along with this, we can also plan that, hey, development team, what is the duration which you would take and what kind of a timeline you are looking forward to. So once that is done, they will sit with the developer and identify the exact requirement. Then they move towards the prototype and ensure that there is an alignment. So, friends, you can see that they started communicating with the customers, then the stakeholders, then IT team, then the developer, and now user testing and feedback because that is very, very important. Once everything is done, they will sit with the users and try to check with their more feedbacks. Once the new page and everything is available, they will also try to analyze the same by checking what is my conversion rate now, whether the checkout time is still much or not, they will try out themselves. And very important is CSAT, which is customer satisfaction. So eventually, what will happen here is cart abandonment drops from 72 to 40% in 2 months. Mobile conversion improves by 25%. So, guys, that's a breakthrough. One of our friends said 10%, right? Navtej, do you think after going and following this step, this should be possible? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, I hope you guys are able to align that yes, this is the difference what brings in. And now, as I said, anything which increases the revenue, stakeholders would be happy because there was not much cost on the IT part, and they are happy that conversions have now increased and drops has been like 70 to 40% in 2 months. So, friend, this brings in a very, very important part is devil is in the details. Business analysts don't just get a requirement, they identify the root causes and then they align teams and then they also guide practical solutions along with measurable business value. So, this is like one package where everything will not work without the effort from business analyst. So, you can see that he act as a catalyst between all the teams, trying to understand their requirement, their problems, and then trying to ensure that ideally, if you make a workaround like this is the solution we can go ahead. So, guys, do you agree that this is the right process? Again, there can be deviations, but this, ideally, do you think that this is the right process? Can we have a yes or no in the chat box? Or anyone who has a different take on this, please let me know. Okay, Sunshine shares yes. What about others? Nafis, Navtej, what do you think? Okay, great. Charles also follows. Charles, now do you think that that's it? Okay, Nafis says yes, it is fantastic. I'm sure, Nafis, you have been like doing this from many years. Don't you think that a small help would make a lot of changes, right? Ideally,
Yes, it is.
they would have never figured out that this was the cause, right?
Right.
Nobody does the analyzing part because nobody goes ahead and check that hey, why people are dropping at the checkout page or why they are doing it, right? So it's because the technical people say hey, everything is going fine and the business people don't understand technology, so there is always a gap between both of them, and to fulfill that gap our BA comes in, and especially why ServiceNow? Because without understanding the platform you cannot effectively bridge the gap. So now in enterprise segment this tool is popularly used and widely used between all the teams. So if you want to have business needs and technical delivery along with the guidance to bridge the gap, this tool adds on to the value. Okay, great. So that brings us to a very, very important part that especially when you want to get started with a journey, maybe you, are a complete beginner, you are a fresher, you are a new. So it's completely different take altogether. It's like redefining how you think and you have this mindset. So as a business analyst, your mindset should have curiosity. You should always be keeping asking the questions. Again, everyone should identify and keep on asking, hey, why? I would like to know more about it. How to deep down inside it, how to dig deep. That's a very important part. Along with this, we need to have analytical thinking. That means if we have a complex scenario, we'll try to break into smaller portion and then we'll try to see that which part is manageable, and based on that we can actually go ahead and plan accordingly. Okay, so especially that's why we have different models, different life cycles to complete the task. Then comes in empathy. Again, this plays a very critical role because if you don't have empathy, you will not be able to understand the exact pain point of others. So especially you need to understand that stakeholders is the one who has major challenges. The reason he would have to manage pain points, he has to have balancing the conflicting needs. So if you don't have empathy, that will become a bit difficult. So that you have to add on because again, as I said, if you don't understand the pain point, it would be very difficult for you to actually deep down and go ahead. Along with this, you need to have a solution oriented mindset, which means always finding the ways to add value. Again, a classic example, we all have used Google Map, right? Guys, yes or no? In the chat box, Google Map. How many of you use Google Map on a regular basis? Okay, fantastic. So what you have seen that if you are using a Google Map and you put in an address, it will drive you through the location, right? So now, eventually what happens that Google Map shows you that you have to take a right turn. Okay. And suddenly there was a call and you just missed out the right turn. So what happened? You instead of moving right, you went straight. So what does Google Map do? They will try to identify a complete new path with the new route. So primarily, they would not stop their transaction, but they will actually help you with the direction which you have moved in, right? So you need to understand that you should have a solution approach and not the problem approach, where you will always be looking forward to solution, looking forward to add values, rather than highlighting, hey, you did not take a right turn, you had to go back and then take a right turn. But what they analyze is, okay, you have gone straight, that's fine. You can take the next right turn and can come back again. So that's what the solution mindset comes into. Okay. Very important part is, as I said, devil is in the detail. So especially business analysts will have multiple or dual vision. So they need to understand the tactical and the strategic part. Again, as I always say that in our journey, there will always be technical aspect and then there will be a functional aspect. And as a business analyst, you need to have the balance of both. So you need to ensure that there is the overall business objective along with the fine details after implementation, which will affect the exact implementation. Okay. So you need to have the focus on the big picture. It's not only about gathering information, it's not only about identifying what was wrong, but you have to move to the next level. As I said, dig deep. So if you start asking your question, as I mentioned, you should be curious that why is this feature needed? Again, if I implement this feature, how will it impact my users? Is it the best approach? Do you think that there can be an alternative? So it's always asking on multiple questions so that you come to the right answer. So let's quickly check in and learn about importance of business analysts. So friends, can someone put in few of the importance of business analysts apart from being the bridge? Can we have some pointers in the chat box? Oh. Importance of business analyst. Let's see. I'll wait for 30 seconds. Guys, what do you think? What should be the importance of business analysts? Anyone would like to add on here? Ganga, Charles, Sunshine, Hafiz. Solution solver. Okay, fantastic. Requirement analyze. So that is by default, right? Ganga, what do you think?
Optimizing process and improving efficiency.
Fantastic. Very good. Sunshine, appreciate like you can type so fast, right? Fantastic, very good. So let's have a quick dive into it. So, friends, as I said, all answers are correct, but first and foremost is aligning your information technology with business goals. You need to understand the business needs and identify what are the different challenges. In the previous example, when we started, definitely the checkout process was buggy and faulty. So, that was only aligned because it was dig deep, right? If we had not understood the exact issue, you would have never solved a problem. Along with this, you need to ensure that whatever the technical teams gives you, the same has to be explained to the business team because then only they will understand the scope of domain. What is the domain of possibility? Because business guys will say that, okay, guys, we want this. And after 10 days, they will come across and say, hey, now we want this. And they keep on changing themselves because as per the current requirement. Especially the developer will say, hey, everything is not possible, but if you can plan out that what is the end goal, we can actually streamline the phase-wise rollout and we can work upon it accordingly. So here, business analysts will ensure that, okay, rather than having everything in a similar plate, we will have something which have the phase one, phase two, and so on. So, and we can develop accordingly. So that will make both the team happy. Again, unless and until there is a bridge. So technical team explains that, okay, this is the domain of possibility and business says that, hey, these are some major functions which we are looking forward to. This will ensure that the project failures will be less because business analyst will ensure that whatever is required by both the teams has been clearly mentioned to both the teams. So now, rather than, in fact, trust me, if you go in a real world, you will always see that the business team and the technical team will have a conflict every time. Okay. To bridge that gap, business analysts will come into the picture, and that's very, very important. Trust me, if there is no business analyst, both the team will fight and eventually leads to a failure of the project. So once business analyst tries to understand and rework the whole thing, you will see that the load balancer is done between both the teams. Okay. And again, everyone agrees to that. He acts as a communication bridge between the business team, where he speaks in terms of goals, processes, and business outcomes. In the context of business analyst, he now translates between business and technical language. And especially when he comes down to the technical team, he speaks in terms of functions, systems, and technical specification. Guys, remember, those who speak English has to be taught in English. Those who speaks French, I have to speak them in French. And those who speak in Chinese or other language, we have to speak in those language. Reason, if you don't do this, it won't work properly, right? Again, I would like to share a classic example or a real world example. Guys, you know KL Rahul, Indian cricketer, by any chance? Can we have a yes or no? KL Rahul. I'll share a real world scenario and trust me, it would be great thing. By any chance, you know a cricketer called KL Rahul in the India team? Can we have just yes or no? So yesterday, okay, you are not aware. So especially while playing test cricket yesterday, he was seen speaking Tamil with one of his fellow member. We saw that he was speaking in Hindi and he was speaking in another language. So now it ensures that when you speak with the people in their own language, there is always the bridge comes in, the trust comes in, and now you try to understand the problems in a better manner, and that will help you to prepare the bridge in a smoother way. Okay, so that's what the real world scenario brings in. Okay. Again, support decision making. So business analyst provides a data driven fact. So if you provide insights with the numbers, that will help you in the smarter decision. So what they do, they pick up the raw data, make it more meaningful and actionable, and then they explain it to the stakeholders that, hey, this is what the real world scenario is. And after completing everything with the flows, diagrams, and charts. This is what we are planning in the next stage. Trust me, this actually will open lot many gates. Stakeholder will also have a trust because he now sees his ideas being mapped on a presentation. Initially, it was only a raw data, but now when this is an intelligence for stakeholders, they would appreciate the efforts. Again, going forward, driving efficiency, that brings in very, very important. So you saw that along with identifying and connecting with the different team, they prepared workflows so that all the steps are being noted. So especially the checkout facility was there. They identified that they can have a guest checkout, and instead of 5 process, we can eliminate it to only one, right? Again, that's actually ensuring that the efficiency is being driven. He had found the root cause so that now they know what is the exact root cause and they can start working on that problem. Eventually, this will lead to customer satisfaction. And since he is also discussing or having interaction with the customers, they will ensure that service and deliverables or a product meets user expectation, because happy customer equal to happy business. Okay. And there should be someone, again, as a customer, you can be complete layman and you can guide the feedbacks to the team accordingly and convey that what customer wants. What is the turn off for them? In previous case, we saw that internet or maybe the checkout process was very slow, and registration before buying the product or before making the payment was frustrating. So if I understand that, I can actually inform the team and they can bridge the gap between them. Okay. So primarily we call it as 3 steps. The 3 steps is understand, translate, and then guide. The first stage becomes trying to identify requirements. We'll have business contacts. We'll have identifying stakeholder needs. We'll have the technical team needs, and then we can move towards the translate stage where we will try to convert those into actionable items. And eventually we'll bring in a solution which is aligned with the business goals. Okay. So I'll quickly move it. And so friends, before diving into roles and responsibilities of a business analyst, I would also want you to show up that what we are going to cover in the curriculum. Okay. So let me, I hope I was sharing the presentation, right, friends? Did you see the presentation or you missed out? Okay. So friends, I'm just taking you through the curriculum. I hope you can see my screen now. Yes. Okay. So friends, what we intend to cover in our training. So this is what we are looking forward to. We are looking forward to total 35.5, which is approx 40 hours. We'll extend it to 40 hours of curriculum. So you can see that we'll get started with the basics first. We will be covering the business analyst fundamentals. So under that, we'll be covering overview. We'll try to get into project life cycle. What are the different models? I'll be giving you some case studies. Okay. And probably in the next session, we'll have different case studies and I'll ask you to bring in your input on that. Then we'll discuss about Agile Manifesto and 12 Principle of Agiles. We'll be discussing about Scrum framework with some example. Then we move towards the stakeholder and require management part. We'll try to understand about the stakeholder management and how to communicate with them. What are the different requirement and eliciting technique which Nafis was mentioning. And then we ensure that the conflicts and expectations are met. Requirement gathering techniques, require documentation. We'll learn about how to have BRD, FRF, and user stories. We'll also learn about functional and non-functional requirement. Okay. Then we move towards the process and system analysis, where we learn about how to prepare a flow chart, UML diagram. We'll try to understand the gap. Friends, this stage is very, very critical because especially in the real world scenario where you go, there will be a difference between the current state and the desired state. So that brings in our gap analysis. So that will be covered. And then we'll move towards impact analysis and change management, prototype and wireframe, and finally we'll move towards analytical and validation techniques. So we'll try to learn about what are the different reportings, what are the use cases. We'll try to understand what is the risk analysis, and how we can have mitigation of the risk, and eventually user acceptance testing and the validation part. So once we are through with the business analyst fundamental, we'll dive into ServiceNow, where we'll try to learn about different aspects. We'll create a complete structure for us. We'll have a personal developer instance. I'll guide you that how we can go ahead and prepare that. And under that, we'll be learning about user and role management. We'll try to address business rules and how we can have different policies. We'll have a basic understanding of what is forms and data management. Coming down to very critical part is workflows, the automation, right? That's what you are here for. So you will help in automation and workflow, and then we'll dive towards how to have these tools mapped with different IT tools, like especially this can be configured with working with Salesforce, or how this can be connected with other party tools. Okay. Once this is done, we'll dive into ITSM module, where we'll try to learn that how we can use in incident management, problem management, change management, and then the reporting and dashboard. We'll also have an overview of configuration database management, where we'll also learn about CMDB. We'll have a short on SPM. I'm sure you are aware of what SPM is. If you are not, no worries, I'll be guiding you. Under that, we'll also learn about the basic overview. We'll learn about idea and demand management. We'll have project portfolio and resource management, eventually moving into agile management and execution, and then financial and application portfolio management. So you'll get to know the basics of cost planning, budgeting, and forecasting all in there. Okay. And then you'll also have a basic of application lifecycle basics. And then final will be how you will be using ServiceNow for BA role. Reason, we'll be helping you in two ways. One is the pre-sales activities, and the second one is post-sales activities. So we'll help you out starting with the user training, deck creation, proposal creation, success stories, and journey flow creation. And then overall, we will, under the post-sales activities, we'll discuss about documentation, data gathering templates. Again, the best part is few of the participants asked that whether we'll be giving them some samples or not. Friends, we'll be giving you some templates. These are not the original document, but you can use this as a guiding stone for yourself. And for on basis of this, you can simply plan the road ahead. Okay. So friends, quickly, if you have any questions with the curriculum, please let me know. This is what we are intending to. If you have anything specific in mind, let me know. I'll just wait for a while. And if you have anything in mind, please let me know. Okay, all good? Anyone have any queries on the curriculum? Sunshine, it will be completely hands-on. Right? It is, right? It is completely hands-on. But initial part, we will have a bit of theory, and probably from the next session onwards, I'll be giving you a lot of case studies. I'll be giving you a real world studies, and then we will be discussing about the templates and everything. Okay. So rest assured, it's completely hands-on, and it will be more of no theory, only practical, right? That's what we are here for. Great. So let's quickly dive into role and responsibility of a business analyst. I'm sure everyone in the room knows. So can we have quickly answering all the roles and responsibilities which you know about a business analyst, and then we'll try to map with it. Quickly, let's see. So guys, what do you think? What will be the role of and responsibilities of a business analyst? Can we have some answers in the chat box?
Requirement gathering.
Okay, fantastic. Very good. So that's the right answer. Go ahead. What next?
Analyzing problem and finding solution.
Fantastic. So gathering and analysis is there. Very good. Okay. Wow. Sunshine, you are very quick. Like you are using AI tool or you're typing in. Fantastic. Great, great. Super. But you are quick. You are very fast. Appreciate the quick thing.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
don't
Yeah,
tell us.
yeah, Nafis, please go ahead.
So this is the modules which we requirement gathering analysis. Okay, this is how ServiceNow would be different than other BA roles, like other in financial domain. If we talk, or if we talk any other domains, how this domain would be different in all these BA roles.
So see, what we are looking forward to is, especially this is for IT roles and business management roles. So we have three different roles and we'll be showing you how this will be acting in all the three roles.
Okay,
So see, the idea is one role cannot map everything, right? So we will try to understand different roles and then we can actually customize it as per our requirement. But you will
sure,
now be able to know that, okay, these are the options and everything is available. So I can go ahead and tweak a bit for myself.
sure. Thank you.
Modules like ITSM, HRSD, CMDB are part. And once you know ServiceNow, you can actually have the best of both the worlds, where you know that how you want to modify the things for you. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
great. Sunshine has some notes. Fantastic, Sunshine. Okay. So, friends, we move on towards facilitating workshop and meeting, that like you saw that they have to meet multiple people to understand the agenda, participation, and then the conflict resolution. Similarly, they have to be good with documentation where they have to prepare these documents. So, friends, I'll be asking you to prepare these documents, okay? Especially in our training, I'll be giving you a complete case studies, and there will be three unique case studies which we will get started. So what we'll do, we'll try to understand your level one at the initial stage, and gradually we move towards the training. We'll map it that where you have enhanced. Okay, so that will be like a baseline for us. We'll try to understand, okay, this is was the baseline, and now we have reached at this level. So we know that how you good you are with BRD, how good with FRD, and how you are good with writing up a story or describing features from user perspective. Like as a customer, I face this issue. As a customer, I go ahead and do this. The next one is business process modeling in this role. So friends, every role says that what we are going to learn. So we'll be learning about flowchart, BPN diagrams, UML diagrams, and data flow diagrams. If you are well versed with it, fantastic. If not, I'll teach you, I'll give you a hint. So we'll be using Visio and Lucid chart. Okay. Again, if you don't have the tools, please let me know. I'll guide you accordingly that what we will be doing and how I'll help you out. Okay. So don't worry at all. I'll be helping you out with everything. And in fact, if you have any requirement, we'll have our WhatsApp group where you can put in the text and the team will help you out. Okay. Then we have stakeholder liaison role, supporting project management, and finally the UAT testing support. Okay. Process improvement opportunities, and finally risk analysis, where we'll be trying to understand about risk identification, assessment, and how to solve or mitigate the risk. Change management, again, this is very, very important because as a BA, you only can explain the team that why change is necessary. And once you say that why the change is necessary, you have to add on the training support so that they get to adopt with the new thing, right? So you also need to ensure that BAs will identify and measure the solution uptake. So if I am proposing a solution for the team, I'll help out to bridge the gap by ensuring that they are trained. And I'll also map that what level of understanding they have now with the solution. Okay. So, friend, these are a few skills which will be required And in case if not there, we will guide you, we'll have a personal calls and we'll help you to bridge that gap again. Okay. So quickly see communication skills, guys. Again, as I said, this will be a very, very vital role. And that's why I want you to put in more questions, be active on the chat, and keep on adding more and more questions. Okay. That will help us in our learning. The second one is analytical thinking. So, how you can break complex issues into manageable components. So, especially we have around 10 or 15 people in the room. Everyone with his unique idea will propose a solution. So, what we can do, we can gather all the information and try to learn from each other. It's about more of sharing, right? So we learn about how every individual thinks, and probably we can use that resources for our development. So we can pick out the best of the world and then can use. Okay. Again, as I said, problem solving abilities, this is where the magic lies. You need to understand the problem and then define the problem accurately. Again, a specific problem, as mentioned, 15 people have a different ways of solving it, right? So you need to also ensure and write these are multiple options available for us. Eventually, you will go ahead and plan the alternative objects, then move towards the optimal approach, and finally, whatever is feasible or practical in your environment, right? Not all solutions will map to your existing scenario. So you need to understand a solution which will go with your current ability or the organization. Documentation, as I mentioned, it's very important, and stakeholder management, so that also is very critical. If you don't know how to convey to a stakeholder or how to identify, analyze, manage and engage, trust me, they will not be interested. So this plays a very, very important role, and especially when we are moving into ITBA, you need to have the basics of domain knowledge, where you need to know what are the different process, some terminologies which I'll also be sharing you while we will dive into the modules, so that it makes most of it. Okay. So again, guys, a bit of technical. You don't need to learn coding or anything. No coding is required, but just the basic terminology, basic UI, and how everything works. Okay. And last but not the least is adaptability. So, friend, this concludes the session for the day. So first three session will go a bit slow and then we'll dive directly into the curriculum. And adding it here, first three sessions are free. You are here to come in and bring in all your queries. If you have any doubts, if you have any questions, or you want me to add something, please go ahead and put in. So friend, again, those who are here, please understand that by this time you would have realized that business analyst is one of the most important aspect in any organization, because if you move into finance, if you move into healthcare, retail, everyone has a requirement and they require business analysts to understand their business process and take it forward. So especially for finance, compliance is the key. For healthcare, patient care is the key. For retail, multiple things, like they need to understand supply chain, they need to understand customer experience, and they need to understand e-commerce optimization. And if you see, the good part is whenever you are involved in a project, you'll have a meaningful project involvement, you'll learn complete a new way, you will have to have a lot more communication with the different team, and probably it's a learning curve for you as well, right? Because every new learning or a new problem is a new learning for us, right? So I see in a way that this is a curriculum which will help you to become a change enabler, right? Because as a business analyst, you will drive meaningful transformation across organization. And trust me, guys, when you are the change enablers, you have a lot of control and a lot of respect. People will look forward to you as a value creator. They know that if I put in a real problem, you will come up with a real business value and try to understand, translate, and then guide to the exact solution. And last but not the least, brings in the balanced skill set where strong communication, analysis, and people skill will come into the picture. So, friends, if you have any questions here in context of curriculum or anything, please let me know. I'll open it for the Q&A. Anyone have any questions here? Please let me know. Hey, hi Sunita, how are you doing? Hi Naftesh, Nafis, Marina, guys, any questions here? Sunshine, if you would like to add on anything. Nafis, if you have any question here, please let me know.
Okay, so for the training, are we looking at 1 hour, 30 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours? You
So
didn't say anything about the timing.
the timing will be 1.5 hours. So initial sessions, like as I said, it will be less because we just want to get started, and gradually we'll have at least 1.5 hour session. We'll be looking forward to 1 hour 30-minute session.
Sure.
See, the idea is many times when you're trying to solve issues, it won't be done in less than like time. So time is required, so there will be a lot more learnings, and we'll try to complete the topics accordingly. Okay,
Sure.
great,
Thank you.
fantastic.
What days?
Anyone?
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one question. So, are we doing the theoretical part and technical together, or how it works?
Yes, both will be there. So
Mm.
initial, there will be a bit of theory, and then we will dive into the complete practical.
Okay.
See, because few of you might have a technical expertise, or few of you might have a business expertise, right? But ensuring that everyone in the room moves to a same level, we'll have the basic curriculum where we'll have the best of both the worlds. We have a bit of theory followed by practical. So that's how we are planning. Charles, go ahead. What's your query? So, Charles, the training will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, next session will be on Wednesday, 8 p.m. And that will be 1.5 hour session. So, today was more of an intro session. That's why we have kept it low. But gradually, we'll have 1.5 hour session where we'll be diving more into it. So, main session will start, and we'll be having a lot more questions coming in from you in the next session. Great. Any more questions, guys? Please let me know. I'm here. Marina, Ganga, if you have any other questions.
And after this learning, we will be good enough to dive into working.
Absolutely. See, as I mentioned, if you have gone through the curriculum which we have presented is completely customized. Nobody is offering this, right? And why we have reached? Because we have done multiple trainings, and we have also got best out of the thing, right? So you can see that the training is complete curriculum and practical based example. So we'll be giving you a lot more tasks. See, it's not about me speaking in, it's you who will be doing the work, because we want you to learn, and along with this there will be feedbacks where you can better yourself. And see, please, as I mentioned, this will be always a continuous learning because the problem statement will keep on changing for each and everyone, right? Fantastic.
Sure, thank you.
So Sunshine, how many notes you have? Like, I have a quick question. You seem like
Okay, so I've done business analysis.
okay,
Okay,
fantastic.
so but I didn't do most of hands-on training. I've also been trained in Scrum Master
Oh wow, very
and
good.
project management. Okay, so that's why I'm actually looking at hands-on training. We have a lot of training outside there. After learning, you wouldn't be able to do the proper work.
Okay, so which tools you have worked with? Like, you have worked with any tools?
Yes, I've worked with Jira. I've worked with Confluence. Right now, I'm working with Guardwire in my present office. I've worked with for data flow diagram. I know how to use Lucid charts, and yeah. So I've worked with most of BA tools, but I'm particularly interested in having the project done end to end.
Okay, so fantastic, very good, super. So, friends, any specific tools you want to learn here? If you have anything, please let me know. Please let me know if you have anything specific requirement. We can plan that. So, Charles, Sunshine, Nafis, if you have any specific requirement, please let me know. We can work on it. Let's see. So, friends, as mentioned earlier, we will be, as I said, this is complete. It's not about just sharing them. We'll be discussing with you as an individual requirement and we'll guide you accordingly. Try to understand, and it's about helping you out to take it forward. So, Navtej, any question? So, I'll quickly move on. Sunshine, done. Sunita Kumari, if you have any questions. Marina, Ganga, Charles, if you have any questions, let me know. So, friends, Thea will be sharing the details to you. Meeting links and everything will be shared by her. She'll be also sharing the documentation. And if you need the presentation, then anything, she will be the one who will be communicating with you. Okay. So if we don't have any questions, I think we can close it for the day. I hope all was good, and have a great night. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Hey, Thea, you are there?